First podcast, here we go. What is up, guys? Tonight is episode 1 of a podcast that we have yet to name officially. This is the new crew that is joining here. We're just going to say temporarily under Garage Quinn Motors, as the channel is going to be changing soon in the near future. But tonight we're going to talk about the new guys that are joining us, some of the directions that we're moving in with the channel. We're going to talk about the new show that we're filming at Lime Rock, which is very exciting. And if we have some time from there, we'll talk a little bit about what our next potential car purchase could be. So to start things off, look to my right here. This is Ryan Sear.
Good evening.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan.
Well, my name is Ryan Sear. Car enthusiast, obviously, or I wouldn't be here. Recently, I've been filming cars on my own, following this guy for a while now. I saw his "Come Work With Me" video, and I said, you know what? Why not? Yeah. Then I met this fine young man, and here we are.
That was really nice, man.
Yeah,
wow.
You're a good guy.
Tell us about your cars. What do you got? What do you have? What do you had? What do you got? What are you into?
So I have a 07 WRX, STI swap, full bolt-ons, stock motor. Makes about 350 to the wheels, 350 torque. That's what I've been driving since 2009. It's been the one car I've kept over the years. But recently I picked up a 97 Miata, 97 Miata R package, and right behind this camera is actually the engine for that car.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna go through it, freshen it up. Not gonna go crazy just yet. We'll see where it goes, but
that build
make it look nice, run good.
We're gonna have to get something going on for that build.
We might have to get something going on.
Buy my turbo.
Yeah. Things don't stay stock for long around here.
No.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah. So definitely gonna do a full exhaust intake, coilovers, get the car set up right.
Wheels and tires.
Wheels and tires.
We'll document that.
Yep.
We'll do a full
Do a build on it.
documentation of the build. And we'll take it from there.
Right on.
Yep.
Right on. Matt Weiser. Matt or Matthew? What do you want me to call you?
Matt, definitely, not Matthew.
Matt. I should have asked him this off camera, but
Into cars forever. Always going to Lime Rock as a kid growing up with my dad, looking at cars. Got into photography. Finally bought an enthusiast car. I've had kind of shit boxes my whole life. I got a 94 Miata, 36,000 miles on it when I bought it.
wow.
Untouched.
Wow.
Never seen snow or rain, and immediately put a turbo on it, suspension, wheels, tires, brakes,
Good man.
everything.
How many miles are on that now?
Like 50 now. just
Wow.
over
I
50.
didn't realize it was that low.
Yeah.
Damn.
I stole it from this lady. I feel like she charged me Kelly Blue Book value.
Oh, we're on the internet
Yeah,
here.
I feel she's not on the internet.
She's gonna see your face and be like, "That boy ripped me off."
Yeah, so that's my main project car right now. I'm actually looking to probably do something with a daily driver, something that's kind of fun but pretty tame.
Yep.
I like the new Civic SIs. I have kids, so I need 4-doors.
Yep.
Civic Si 4-door would be a nice choice, I think.
Oh damn.
Maybe, I don't know. I
That
want
won't
something.
stay stock for long.
There
either.
hasn't been any front wheel drive content on the channel, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to have that on.
It's got a limited slip, and supposedly those are pretty good.
Yeah.
They pull you into the corner pretty well.
Yeah.
So
Front wheel drive's the devil.
yeah, I'm not. Obviously, I would love rear wheel drive, but
I just saw a post of those making 400 wheel horsepower on that 1.5 liter.
I don't know if I'd want to
Stock
push
motor.
That's sick.
That's a lot of power out of a little engine.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. But it's impressive out of 1.5
Mm.
stock motor.
Did
High reliability.
they say how much boost that was?
I forget how much boost it was.
that would have to be
I
like
feel like
40.
it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't
think
think it was crazy.
I think stock they're already a lot. They're like 16 pounds or something.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a smaller turbo for like punchiness around
Yeah.
town. Are they even VTEC anymore? Is Honda still
No,
doing
it's
VTEC?
it's Earth Dreams now.
Oh my word!
I don't think that Earth Dreams motor even has an exhaust manifold. I think the
Yeah.
turbo just bolts right to the
Oh,
head.
that's right.
It's like
I heard
integrated
that.
exhaust manifold. That seems weird to me.
What kind of world are we living in when Honda's not even doing VTEC
These
anymore?
newfangled
That's
bullshit.
sad.
Hell yeah.
That's depressing. Awesome.
Yep.
Ryan King. Some of you guys may know Ryan. Remember his Turbo MR2? I did a very brief track outing with that.
Super
until,
brief, yeah.
Totaled your tire. Sorry about that. Doing a little drifto.
They're made to be ruined.
Yeah.
They're put in this world to be ruined. So yeah, I've been racing one thing or another since I was a small child. Motocross and four-wheelers and cars, sprint cars, and midgets, super modifieds, road course stuff. I'm a driving instructor, teach automotive technology at a tech school, and build a bunch of cool stuff. Try and make cool things for the world. Show people that you can do cool things without ass loads of money. Got some cool projects going on. I've got one thing I'm excited about is it's an old Toyota truck that I've been building. It was my first car. It's an '89 Toyota 4x4. And so we're in the midst of a turbocharged LS swap and an independent rear suspension swap with this Total Chaos Motorsport long travel kit all around, King Motorsport coilovers, Recaros, and fiberglass body. It's a like wild trophy truck for the street. Pretty excited about that. Got a couple of those MR2s like we were talking about, 2000 MR2s. One's a turbo 1ZZ, and one's a turbo 2ZZ. 1ZZ one's like kind of like a daily / winter beater thing, and works pretty good. The 2ZZ one's like track slut, super gutted door cards, and lots of weight reduction. Big weight reduction guy. So those are both going pretty cool. But yeah, some big stuff on the horizon. I love making custom cars. People talk about modifying cars. I like to build cars. I don't like to do some couple things here and there. I like to have something that's completely my own, and it's like almost nothing left untouched. So
I'm really excited to hear about that project. The seat mounted to the hitch for like.
Oh yeah, for doing
shots.
some video stuff. Yeah, my buddy Romer is a wild man, so he welded up this like car seat on this like crazy death trap contraption, so it goes on a trailer hitch. It can do some awesome
And nobody's used it yet.
chase footage.
I'll jump on that in a second.
Yeah,
We'll do the test.
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah,
certified.
you have to sign a waiver.
Yeah.
He's a certifiable welder. I mean, certified welder. But yeah, it should be strong enough.
We should just videotape Matt videotaping hanging off of that rig on the back like death trap thing. Like
Evidence.
awesome. So that is the new crew, and we are transitioning Garage Quinn Motors over to a automotive media outlet. So the reasoning behind this is between the four of us, we can create, I think, a lot better variety of content. It allows us definitely to do more. I do know that Garage Quinn Motors lacks a little bit in the video quality department. Nobody really to blame about that one, but these guys are great. They have awesome camera equipment. Their video skills are fantastic, and I think you guys are gonna see a good jump in the quality for things to come. The other news is we just launched the promo for our new show, which is called The Slip Angle. We're filming it at Lime Rock Park. We have negotiations with them to be able to produce episodes there, and we're going to talk a little bit about like kind of the premise for the show. But I'll open it up with it's a celebration of the cars that people our generation, some younger guys, maybe some a little bit older, but kind of more the '90s era, early 2000s, some late '80s stuff, but a lot of the tuner cars, a lot of the stuff that we kind of grew up with, that you just don't see a lot being done with these days. Like try to go out there and find like a good video of like an FD RX-7 kind of being driven at its, through its paces and exercised appropriately. Like it's not that they're not there, but it's just there's just not as much, and there's not as many people doing that in current times. So we're really going to kind of celebrate that. The mechanical tuner cars, stuff that we all love. We're all grassroots guys. We all started off with low budgets, and as we kind of got more established in our careers and we're able to expand a little bit. We're getting into these cars now. They've come down in price. And I think one of the great things that we're going to be demonstrating with the show is we're going to have all performance testing done. So you're going to get acceleration, you're going to get G-forces, you're going to get braking, and we're going to have lap times. And we're going to keep a running database for every car that we test. We'll do comparison stuff for two cars that are very similar or would be good benchmarks against each other. We're going to document and database everything on garagequinn.com for now. We'll probably, when we figure out what we're going to call everything in the long term, we'll make a new site for it, but it'll be linked off of Garage Quinn. And what'll be cool is we'll have a running list of all the data, so you can benchmark stuff. We'll get some modern day stuff in there, the modern hypercars and supercars. We have access to some of them, and we can show you guys how a lot of the mechanical stuff from the 90s and earlier years benchmark against them. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Not really anybody doing that, so.
Yeah. I like the idea of modded and unmodded cars too, to see the difference that your mods actually make.
Yep, that'd be a great thing that we can
Is all
test.
that money worth it?
Yep.
His car,
Yeah.
starting with it's relatively stock Miata, would be a perfect car to kind of benchmark as we add power and suspension and everything else and setup to show the improvement.
I like the idea of testing something that you built versus something that somebody bought.
Yep.
You know, like my MR2 versus a Lotus Elise or Exige.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
see that like maybe you don't have to spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to have that experience. Maybe you can build something that you rolled yourself and you put your own flavor in, and it does things just as well as something that they built in Heathel or wherever. I probably pronounced that wrong. Heathel. I don't know.
I think that's going to be
I'm an
like
American.
a really cool thing. Like kind of uncovering some of the hidden gem cars that are out there, because there are hidden gem. I mean, MR2 is definitely one of them. People pay more money for a first gen Miata now than a clean MR2 Spider, and we're talking about MR2 Spiders. But that's a definitely unspoken hero.
It's because it looks the same going forward and backwards, so people are turned off by that.
I think the RX-8 is another one of those unspoken heroes these days.
The RX-8 is an awesome car, and I'm a little bit biased, but I'm not saying that to like blow smoke up the car's ass, because I know it's got a bad rap, and rightfully so. There's a lot of issues with it, but those of you who've been following the build for that, like I kind of sorted out majority of the major problems, and that car's a wonderful daily driver.
If you like getting 9 miles to the gallon.
You know what? I found life just got so much better years ago when I just stopped caring about gas mileage. If you don't check, you just kind of forget all about it, and it just becomes more routine.
What do you get for a range? What do you get out of a tank of gas?
I have no idea.
Because for me, range is more important than fuel economy in a lot of ways. Just because, like, if I have to stop all the time to get gas, it's just like kind of a hassle. Yeah. I don't really mind getting
I've not
low
once
mileage.
checked the fuel mileage on that.
Yeah.
When I daily drove my FC, which was a street-ported NA13B, I would average like somewhere around 15, 16 miles per gallon.
My S300 only got 19.
It's good. My BMW S54 toilet, that gets 16 to 18. You know, what's one MPG less? You know, it's a couple bucks a year.
Yep.
Actually got better gas mileage after I turbocharged my Miata than before.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
That MR2 is awesome on fuel. It's like
efficiency.
Get like 28 average, beating the living shit out of it. No problem.
Beat that.
Yeah.
Oh, when I beat the
doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think all these different opinions and data, it's all valuable, and it's not. It seems like there's a hole in the market where people just aren't really talking about this stuff. They're not doing measured testing. They're not weighing the cars. They're not, dynoing the cars. I think
it's all modern stuff.
Yeah.
The latest and greatest. That's all you see the data for.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like modern data is great, but like I'm not buying modern cars.
Yeah.
You gotta pay $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 now.
The idea of a $60,000, $70,000 car payment makes me want to throw up.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of money to spend every month,
Not to mention, probably a lot of them are going to depreciate.
Yep.
So it's not like you just buy a $60,000 car and then drive it for 5 years and sell it for $60,000. You buy a $60,000 car, drive it for a couple of years, and then it's worth $20,000. and the car cost you $40,000 for those couple of years.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
And then taxes on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
rather have something that I built for 15,
Yep.
and then if I ever want to sell it, it's worth 25 because it's something special and people can recognize the value there. You know.
Hell yeah.
So you can do this whole motorsport thing on a pretty cheap budget. So because what you pay for a car really doesn't matter that much. It's what it costs you to own it over the entire term that you owned it. So if you buy a car for 20 grand, you sell it for 25 grand. That car didn't cost you 20 grand. It made you 5 grand.
Yeah.
So you can do it right, and if you're smart, you can do this whole motorsport thing on a budget and actually have it be a thing where. You know, people will say to me, I've got a couple cars, and people with a new Hyundai will say to me, I don't know how you spend so much on cars. And it's like, dude, you just spent $25,000 on a Hyundai Sonata, and that thing in 5 years is going to be worth $2,500.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I've had 6 cars that all made me $2 grand a piece. And so it must be nice. You know, it's like what do you mean it must be nice? But to be thinking outside the box a little bit and having it work for us.
See, my problem is I just get attached.
Yeah.
And I can't sell it. I sold the AP2.
I sold a
Like,
Sport Cross.
red
I can't
one,
believe it.
But you know what though? That just kind of came up as it was a friend selling it, and the price was good, and there was a lot of stuff on his car that I wanted for mine. So I kind of justified it that way, even though I really shouldn't have bought the car because I had just closed on this place, and that was all hectic trying to get everything resolved and everything up to date with what I had to do to live here. But other than that, I haven't sold anything in years.
Is there anything you guys have regretted selling? What's the car if you could go back and not sell it? What are the cars? I know for me, it's my Mark IV Supra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And my RA29 Celica was cool too. That's 77 liftback.
Yeah.
I would have kept that, I think. I had a little bit of rust starting, so that was kind of motivated me to sell that car. But
Old car, yeah.
I've owned a bunch of beater cars, but always kept the ones I really liked.
Yep.
So
yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
Same here. All beaters.
I'm worried if I sell the WRX, I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I sold anything I regret. Cause again, this is just going back to I have that attachment. So if I sold it, it meant that something wasn't there. The SUV, I will say the AP2, I was questioning it, but it really allowed me to kind of move forward with a lot of other build stuff, and it was redundant. It was very redundant.
yeah.
I was tossing around the idea supercharging it or something just to have something a little bit different flavor, but I have to build that white FD, so
Yeah.
any builds that I throw in between here is just getting in the way of that. So it's just not. It was an easy decision to do it.
I've kind of always seen myself as not as a car dealer particularly, but kind of that. You know, I've always seen cars as kind of a commodity to be traded and bought and sold and used for a little while, and so I don't typically get too attached to too many of them. There's not many I wouldn't get rid of if the right money came along.
I'm definitely not attached to my Suburbans.
I don't know,
It
man.
was
Life without the
great.
StarCraft just wouldn't be the same.
The wood in the StarCraft is definitely
Opulent.
it's it speaks to me on some level, but I would
Like
think I'm
termites. You're probably just hearing a termite.
don't think it could be.
There was definitely some clunking going around in the front end.
Oh, dude, that thing makes so many noises. Whether it's the exhaust leak or the ball joints that are clunking.
Yeah, we all went to ice cream in the StarCraft tonight, and it was an experience.
Dude, I had
Unparalleled.
to hammer it
Yeah.
down to get us there. in
Yeah, we were
time.
late.
That thing was screaming.
I thought we were gonna die.
we had
That-
26 minutes to get there, and that was the ETA.
We obeyed all posted speed limits.
Yep, definitely.
Dude, that thing at 80 miles an hour, just you go above that. I've had that. I don't know what is wrong with the suspension, but both of my Suburbans have done this. If you get it above 80 and you're turning a little bit and you hit a bump, something happens with the wheels and it starts doing this.
Gives a little- The
you
death.
feel
They call
you-
it the off-road community. They call it the Death Wobble.
You feel like you're gonna
The
die.
cheap guys all talk about
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty scary.
Yeah. It felt like panels were gonna start flying off.
The screws that hold the wood in are actually they back themselves out a little bit.
The drywall screws.
Yeah, the drywall screws that hold the wood grain in. I just I can't get over that they built that thing. We got to do a video on that.
Yeah, reviewing the Star car. I think we should just do just winter beaters in general. I think it's going to be a good.
The sheer wood
kind of
grade in that thing is just like
discussion.
impressive. We
Cause
should weigh that too versus the non-StarCraft, because I bet you that wood adds.
yeah, we'll put them
good
on the
500
scales.
pounds to that
Oh, that's
interior.
wet, too.
Yeah, and the water weight that's in there from all the leaks.
Water weight.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a little about the show, the direction for the channel. So I'm gonna keep Garage Quinn Motors for more my personal build segments. We're gonna sublet the channel up a little bit. So Ryan is gonna bring stuff over from his channel, the Drive It Ryan stuff. Matt, we're gonna do a little bit with his turbo Miata and whatever car you end up getting, because
Yeah,
I know you're thinking about something
Good
else.
stock.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
Ryan will document more his 2ZZ build.
Yeah, we do a
That's
lot
a-
of custom fab at the shop, so
Yep.
that the trophy truck build's really wild.
The
So that'll be
trophy
fun
truck
to
thing is awesome, yeah.
document a little bit. Coming real soon, I'm going to look at a 6-speed transmission for my winter beater MR2 tomorrow. Going to put a limited slip in that, and then they'll do limited slip builds on both of the MR2s, because
Yeah.
open diff sucks in those cars. It just really like costs you a lot of time. If you have to have a car with an open diff, they're pretty driftable and stuff, but they really, it hurts your times in terms of track and autocross stuff.
You know, if your car had a limited slip that day at Lime Rock, you may have been able to drive home on those tires. Just food for thought.
That thing was like corded and flapping against it, like scratched my body panel all up. It was awesome.
If it makes you feel any better, I've done that several times.
Oh
now with
yeah,
some of my other stuff.
Tires are consumable. There's
Yeah.
no stress whatsoever as far as like hurting tires. I put a hurting on a lot of tires today, so I feel no remorse whatsoever. Nor should you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna do some documentation of the of some of this fabrication work and some of these builds. We're building some cool stuff at the shop.
Yep. So we'll have builds for everybody's cars. We're gonna do the Lime Rock show. We're gonna podcast. This will be a new offering. So basically, we kind of want to really focus on the cars from our generation, the mechanical greats, let's say, and diversify the media that we create and that comes out of this channel.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Have
Yeah.
some fun. Slay some tires.
We need some seat time. Me and Ryan.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah.
gotta get back on track.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about doing some driving instruction. I think that'll be fun.
Yep.
Do some ride-alongs and kind of take you guys through the learning experience.
We got play some catch up to these guys.
Yeah. No, I mean it just takes seat time, honestly, and so a lot of stuff that I did was just self-learned, but it took a long time to self-learn it, and sometimes just having somebody who knows, hey, try this or do this, like, it helps.
Yeah,
So-
I think documenting that process is going to be helpful for
Yeah.
people. I mean, I think one of the cool things about having this as an outlet is we can kind of give some knowledge and kind of help people, work their way through the automotive enthusiast experience,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and improve people's experiences.
I think a lot of people think that motor racing is like it costs so much money.
Yeah, it doesn't
get
have
into
to.
but it really doesn't have to.
Yep.
Yeah. Autocross is pretty cheap.
Yeah, if you're smart about, like we were
Autocross
talking about,
is good.
investing in different car stuff and making smart modifications, it's you don't have to lose your ass modifying a car.
Yep.
So and the learning process with learning how to drive is something that I feel like there's not a whole lot of talk about that, and the fact that like we all sucked.
Yeah.
There's at one point in all of our driving careers, we would embarrass ourselves if we went out in a fast car and
Yeah, nobody just goes out and is a rock star.
yeah.
I thought I was a rock star. I could share this because we're all bros and shit now. So, when I had the Miatas, when I first got the Miatas, it was a few months apart. But I bought the NB and I put his Zennies on it, and I started autocrossing and I won my first novice. Like the first autocross, I was in novice class, I won, and then I won again the second time. And then you got out of novice and you started running in the regular courses, and I thought I was the fucking shit. Because I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Not really, but I think I know what I'm doing. And, you know, I would at that time like rear-wheel drive driving experience. It was just Miatas. So not too long after I bought an S2000. It was an AP1. It was a 2000 AP1 S2000 with 49,000 miles on it. I drove 4 hours up to Cape Cod for it in December. It was cold. I paid for it, like I gave them down payment or whatever, did all the paperwork. They delivered it to me a few days later, like registered or whatever in my driveway. Took that car out. It was like I said, beginning of December. It was pretty cold. It was probably like 20 degrees outside. And I had the original Bridgestones on that thing. And
it's an AP1 S2000.
AP1 2000, which was like the most dangerous year.
Yep.
And I'm not blaming the car.
The
It was all my lack of inexperience with like power behind the rear-wheel drive car. But I took it out. I drove it around for probably like 3 or 4 hours. And I did a pull on the highway. Third gear, like right at the VTEC like tip in crossover around 6,000. Fucking matted it. And I did like kind of like a lane change. I was just like moving over into the lane, but like that was enough to send the rear wheels around, and it just like snapped. And like at that time I wasn't disciplined for like what was going on here, with how much lock in the wheel was like translating to the rear. So I spun that car. I slid right down the guardrails backwards, sparks flying everywhere.
It's terrible.
Dude, I mean, thank God nobody was involved. It was like one car accident, but it was like the only thing that like died was my ego that day. And I totaled the whole quarter panel driver's side, ripped the front knuckle off of the car. Like it was done.
Ouch.
And I actually almost gave up on cars because I was just like, man, I suck. I can't believe I did this. And you know, I think I posted like maybe one picture of it real quick on like the Miata forum. I was like, yeah, I finally got an S2000, been wanting one. Cause like I bought my NB because I wanted an S2000, but I couldn't afford it. This was like a couple of years later. But that was like literally the make it or break it point for me. Cause like I almost like stopped. And then after that I said, you know what? I don't want to like lose. I want to like learn how to do this. I want to learn how to drive. So that's when I opened up the door, started racing karts. From there I started doing track days. And from track days, I went to Spec Miata. I did Spec Miata for 7 years, and then the stuff that we've been doing at Limemark the last few years, and just really kind of molded, you know. But there's that saying, you don't know how fast you can go unless you're crashing. Yeah. That's kind of true. You're gonna screw up and you're gonna make mistakes. I think the best thing to do is like to just do it incrementally. So if you do get the car out of shape, it's not devastating. But again, like I went into that S2000 with just like the complete wrong mindset. I like just, it didn't click like having a little bit of power behind the rear wheels versus like driving Miatas. So like Miatas are a great learning platform, but they give like false confidence because especially like when you have 200 tread tires on there, you could just floor those stupid things everywhere and like nothing happens, you know? It just sticks.
Yep, safe.
So that's my embarrassing story.
So when we adjourned, we were starting to talk about what cars we thought would be fun next builds or next purchases.
Pleasure cars.
Pleasurable cars.
Pleasure cars. What is your next pleasure car?
Because pleasure can be quite.
Because nobody wants to hear about the boring practical cars that we need.
Okay.
True.
Who's going first?
Just go right around the room here.
All right.
Start with me?
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Lay it on us with that deep ass voice of yours.
My next pleasure car. I think if everything goes according to plan, I'd like an E90 M3.
Ooh.
A four-door, because you don't see those that often. I personally think they look better in the four-door. That's debatable on the rear end. But I feel like it's a good time to buy them. 6-speed, high revving V8.
It's a nice motor.
They sound amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of electronics in that.
Yeah, a lot of electronics. Yeah. I think it'd be a good, more mature daily driver that's fun. Sounds good. That wouldn't be my track beater, but, you know, just a...
I was on track in one of those today. 4-door one. Yep.
How did it...
Felt strong.
Yeah.
Felt good. Felt balanced. Little too much understeer. Kind of wouldn't trail in for us. But yeah, nice chassis. Real easy to drift. Pretty predictable. Nice and sonorous, nice V8, and yeah,
Sound beautiful,
seemed good.
in my opinion.
Yeah, this one wasn't uncorked or anything. This was a stock one on some super sports.
I think it's one of those cars. If you find a good one, take care of it. You're not really gonna lose any money on it.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
this point in time.
reliability is going to be a little bit of a thing compared to Japanese cars, but it's not going to be horrible, I don't think.
Yeah.
I kind of have a closet obsession with those. I don't talk about it very openly. It's a car that has a lot of things that really speak to me. Like, so when I was shopping daily drivers, I kind of said, like, I would love an E92. I like the coupes a little bit better. I don't know why. Just visually, they look a little bit, they just kind of remind me more of like a very muscular, like E30, you know, or even the E36, right? Like just the next iteration of it. I love the engine. ITBs from the factory, I think is sick.
And the 8-cylinder?
A V8, yeah, the
8 throttle bodies, wow.
yeah.
I don't know
And
much about 'em, sorry.
the V10, the S85 is individual throttle body card too.
Those things sound great.
But the throttle they're electronic. The throttle actuators fail.
Which the guy whose one I was in today had just done throttle actuators in it.
And they're expensive.
$600, I think he said, for
Which-
just the parts.
Yeah.
S54s are electronic, and I have not seen really any issues of those throttle actuators failing, so I don't know what changed. But the rod bearing thing on those motors, and I haven't worked this out, but the rod bearing thing scares me a little bit. And it's a shame, but I think, and this is my theory, I think it's because BMW, the M engineer spec 10W60 weight oil for the S54, the S65, S85. So all the high revving engines use 10W60, which is very thick. Now I know specifically on my S54, which has a gigantic iron turd block, that engine takes a very long time to get oil temperature up. I don't have a coolant temp gauge in that, it's just oil temperature, which is actually kind of a good thing. I wait for that to get up to temp religiously before I actually start putting load to it, because it takes a long time.
Don't they have a thing that keeps you from beating on them on some of the M
You could
stuff?
still load up a car though. Like think about
Yeah.
it. Like if you get into a car and like say you even just floor it at like 2,500. Now you're lugging the motor a little bit. Like even if you go to 5,000, I think it limits it to like 5,500
I thought
or
it limited
5,000.
throttle application too, no?
I don't think so.
Okay, it might have been a dream I had.
You had a dream that BMW limits how much throttle you can put.
I have weird dreams.
That's pretty gnarly, yeah. And again, I don't know. It could be. I mean, BMW's had a bad rap with bearing stuff.
The fact that they were thinking about that enough to make it limit anything before temperatures came up means that maybe there is something, or maybe it was just conscientious. Maybe they're just thinking of us.
What I think happens
Maybe
is
that
I
shit
think
blows up.
I think a lot of people buy that who aren't like really like thinking about what's actually happening during the warm-up phase and with tolerances and your bearing clearances and stuff. But what I think is they're like, oh, it's a modern car. They start it up and they just go. Yeah. And I just don't. I think when you're running, however they clearance those bearings when you're you're running that thick of oil, I think you have to give it the time to get up to temp.
Well, I think people in general are not very mechanically sympathetic.
No.
I think people just don't understand how shit works, and they don't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even occur to them that they're hurting things.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail this
No, not at all.
BMW thing,
But yeah, that car worked well. So
yeah,
I think that's a cool
I'll be
choice.
jelly if you get one, and we're gonna drive it a lot.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
you're gonna need to buy lots of tires. I always feel like they don't get as much like mechanical grip as I want them to. Every time I'm in one of those cars, I always feel like
Yeah.
they're slidey,
I love that.
but I have a hard time putting power down on them.
Oh yeah, my car with those Continentals, they're like 360 tread at Lime Rock. That video, that was a joke.
Yeah.
I loved it though. I had a blast that day.
Yeah, it's fun. I
It's-
just kind of wish they had a little bit more mechanical grip. Maybe on some track day rubber or something that'd be a little thicker.
I look at the BMW stuff as like this is a car that's like, it's sporty, but it's not the grip machine. It's not winning races. It's just a well-rounded car that you can like asshole on your way to work and like get to work and actually be in a good mood because you're
fun.
like,
Yep.
fuck yeah, I just had a great drive.
And you can be comfortable when you don't feel like driving hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I mean, like, think about it, right? Like, they do like take extra steps to try to make that cabin more of a pleasant place to be. There's a lot of Napa leather and everything. They do more sound deadening in it. They're not very sympathetic on the weight thing. Let's face it, they're getting They've gotten pretty fat over the years, you know.
I try to find one without nav because I think the nav has gotten a little outdated since 2011, 12, 13.
That always happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not a huge
yeah.
fan of the double bubble that much. I think it's cleaner with just the gauges and then straight across the dash.
I have nav in the Z4.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit looks like. I don't. Remember, you know what it reminds me of? Remember, what was the Sega handheld that came out? The first like Sega handheld, like killed batteries like really fast. It took 6 AA batteries.
Wasn't the Genesis? Wasn't the Dreamcast? What was the handheld one? I don't remember.
Was it Sega Game Gear?
Game Gear, maybe.
Gear.
Yeah.
That's what the
was,
screen
yeah.
in the fucking nav reminds me. It was a Sega Game Gear. But what's cool about it, mine you could press a button and it like closes it,
Yeah, it
so
goes
then you
away.
just like
Yeah.
okay.
Some people will hack stuff and like take out the screen and put in a more modern screen and Alexa stuff. I don't know if you guys, BMW guys do that. They'll put like a
That's way too much work for BMW guys, I think.
Yeah.
I don't understand why just everything doesn't come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's just so simple.
I haven't used either of them, so I
No,
don't
you
even
should,
know
you
what
should
the hell
use a
I'm
car
missing.
with them. It's like, it's so simple. Yeah.
Maybe one of these days I'll get
my,
a new
the,
car that
the
has
head unit
that.
I've got from my trophy truck is Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
You can get head units now. They're like $300.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
This was not that.
No.
This is baller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Quinn, what is your next car, do you think?
So I've had a hard on for a Gen 2 Dodge Viper GTS, and as of more recently, I think that's kind of been shifting. I was pretty determined that that was going to be my next car. I love the look of it. I love the double bubble roof. It reminds me of like kind of like an FD on steroids, other than the front bumper, which looks a little bit dated. But the rest of that car is pretty good. Needs some help in the interior department, but big engine, very exotic looking, double A-arm suspension. But I'm kind of crossing off on my list because the more I watch people who actually can drive them, which is not very many. I mean, I shouldn't say there's not a lot of people that can drive, but I can't find a lot of good driving footage of them. They don't seem like they tolerate big slip angles. And to me, the allure of that car is having big engine, big torque on tap. I want to asshole that thing around. It's not. I'm not going to race that thing because if you like damage that hood, it's like totaled. So it would just be a pleasure car. So the next bucket list car, which is kind of like taking its place in the one I've been really kind of wanting more and more as of lately, especially talking about all these like 90s JDM cars and all the stuff that we're doing on the channel, is an NSX. And specifically a 1997 to I think it's 2001. Whatever year was the last year before they switched over to the non-pop-up headlights. I want a 3.2 liter one with a 6-speed, because let's face it, that 3 liter with the 5-speed is geared, it's fucked, the gearing. I don't want to do 90 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, whatever second gear goes to, especially on a little wussy 3 liter engine with like not a lot of torque to begin with. But there is a nicely tuned 3.2, bigger cams, a little bit of port work in the head. I'll probably shave the heads, raise compression, do the, you know, my little signature things to try to milk as much naturally aspirated horsepower out of it possible. Individual throttle bodies, of course. I think that would make somewhere around like 340, 350 wheel with all those mods.
Those cars all target tops?
They are, unfortunately. I know that sucks. In the U.S., I think it's anything after 1994 is a target top.
The first time you're getting tunnel with your ITBs, you won't mind the target top, I don't think.
I would literally never take that top off because
No,
the visual look of it like
Yeah.
bothers me.
I like the look of a
I think if
target
it, with
top.
that, with that
you?
Yeah,
sonorous
with it all,
engine
yeah.
behind you, the target top off, I bet that thing gets great tunnel.
I mean, without having it, I can't. I just, every time I see a picture with an NSX with the target roof off, I'm like, no. I wish that they made it a coupe still. If they made it a coupe, I would definitely buy the coupe. I could be wrong in saying this, like, so internet, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But my understanding is that everything after 94 was Targa in the U.S. So that would probably be that would be the next car that realistically I would want to buy. But who knows what will happen, especially with the way the prices are. Because what I just said, the car that I want is at least a $50,000 to $60,000 car, and that's a really hard pill to swallow for. Let's face it, a DC2 Integra that's mid-engine with a hopped-up V6 Accord engine. So,
true.
That'd be but I love the damn thing. You know, like there's the JDM Legends cars, FD, NSX, Supra. So Supra would be the following one from that. But what do you got, Matt?
Me? Next pleasure car. I have to go raw and light. Something raw and lightweight. Exoset.
Ooh.
I have a parts Miata
Yeah.
that it's got some subframes and control arms that I could steal, and I'd like to build. I actually would like to build a naturally aspirated, the Ecotech.
Ooh, those are good. I like those.
Yeah, they're aluminum block.
Yeah.
And they make 180 horsepower.
Didn't Caterham use? Was it Ecotech or was it Z-Tech?
Z-Tech for a while, and then they switched to the Duratex.
Oh, okay. There's so many fucking
Yeah,
techs.
I
How
know.
do you keep track of them?
They're all just biting Honda.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my
VTEC
dad
is
had
popular.
a Z-Tech one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then now all the Caterhams are all Duratex, the 2.3
Okay.
that you find in like my Mazda 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, something as light as possible.
And naturally aspirated. You
Naturally
said?
aspirated. I don't want to worry about just simplicity.
Yeah.
And then just be a track and a autocross car. That's it.
Awesome.
I've got a couple things that are on the list of next builds I'm gonna get done. I really want something motorcycle powered. For a long time, I've just had like a lust for that technology that comes in a motorcycle package. There's just the amount of horsepower per liter that they get out of those reliably is fucking awesome. They all have ITB stock. They're light. They get sequential 6-speeds in them. They're just an awesome combo of just power to weight ratio and a powertrain. And I've always been somebody who just really loves a lightweight car, lightweight experience. I think that weight is the enemy of joy in a car. And so I've been trying to I want something that's just like hyper focused, hyper lightweight, and really like if I had all the money in the world, I'd probably do like an Ariel Atom 3S. But they're stupid money for what they are. There's not much car there, and they're real actual money. And I just think to myself, I'm never going to spend $70,000 on a 3S or whatever they are.
Track toy.
Yeah, just some track toy that I drive around every once in a while. And realistically, I'm hardcore enough, so I'd probably daily one of those things and like drive it in the rain and shit, just because I ride motorcycles all the time and stuff. But so I think what I would have to do to do something motorcycle powered is I'm probably going to do they have these race cars for this series called the Legends car, and they're like these weird little single seater cars with like bodies that look like they're off like a 32 Ford Coupe or something. But they all have to be titled for the series, and I thought to myself, a street legal one of those would be baller. And if you built one of those with like a kind of like a vintage JDM flavor with some T37Vs on there or something, put a real nice seat in there, kind of nice suede steering wheel.
It's single seat.
It's a single seater, yeah.
The center.
So like a back mono or BAC mono. I don't know if it's back or BAC. But those are solo driving experience, which kind of sucks. Part of the fun of having a car is to scare the shit out of somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah. But for the money you can buy these cars, you can buy a decent Legends car for like $5,000.
That's it.
That's it. And so what I'd do is I'd swap out that they've got like some like old Yamaha 1100 motor or something in them. I'd take that thing out and throw it in the dumpster. I'd put a turbo Hayabusa motor in there. Make it like 300 wheel. I don't think they weigh 1,000 pounds. So I think that'd be like a wicked evil little car. That would still be pretty reliable. People do that, and turbo Busa motors and all sorts of stuff. And then the Busa training is pretty strong, sequential 6-speed and stuff. I think that'd be a pretty sick car. A while back, the thing that kind of got me going on this idea is there was somebody did like a rendering of I think it was a 32 Ford Coupe that was like kind of melded with an F1 car and had a carbon body and had a bunch of like F1 aero and F1 tires on this like carbon body.
I know which picture you're talking about.
If we can link that, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll drop that right now.
And so I want to make one of those, only a single seater Legends car one. I think that'd be badass. And I think you could realistically do that whole project for $10,000. If you're pretty ingenuitive, which I tend to be, and you did a bunch of the fabrication yourself, I think you could do that for $10,000. So I think that'd be a cool next car.
Nice.
And the other thing I've got on that is just going to happen someday is a 2GR powered second gen MR2. I want to build like a little more Evora flavored. I've got something that's kind of a competitor for the Elise or Exige. I really want something that is kind of a little bit more GT-ish, like an Evora, and putting the same motor that comes in Evora, which is just a Camry RAV4, comes Sienna, comes in everything. That motor's pretty easy swap into a second gen MR2, and I always thought they were beautiful and exotic. That'd kind of be my NSX competitor. That without some ITBs and some cams, a little naturally aspirated flavor in that thing. I think that'd be a pretty cool project.
Cool.
So.
All right. Very good. Very good. So, I think that's probably pretty good for episode 1.
Sounds good.
I think this is going to be fun. Like,
I should add it. It's almost 1 a.m.
Yeah,
so we're
be-
probably running a little bit out of steam here. But we'll continue to do these, and we'll have more interesting topics for discussion going forward. But guys, that is where we're at with everything. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about the
I think
Lime
it is.
Rock show. I think this is
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
yeah.
Did you say Lime Rock?
I said Lime Rock. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Okay. That doesn't seem like it's much. Okay.
We're doing a Lime Rock show.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about this, and then you're talking Lime Rock. I was confused.
Well, I mean, I'm excited about our podcast.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
I'm excited about the podcast,
let me rephrase
and
that.
I'm excited about
I'm excited about everything.
this whole endeavor is exciting.
The Lime Rock
The-
show is more on my mind because
the
that's like what
crew's
we're
exciting.
doing fresh at the moment. But yeah,
I'm really stoked to be working with these guys. I think it's going to be fun. I think we've got great personalities here. We've got some great ideas.
I just can't get over Ryan. He's so fucking handsome. And like, I just feel like such a toilet
So
on
dreamy.
camera.
Oh.
I feel like such a toilet sitting next to him.
We'll let you guys figure out which Ryan he's talking about.
All right, on that one, let's we'll end it there. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and stay tuned for what's to come.